I'm Cape Joel, and this is Comic Smack, your weekly, daily, all the time, anytime comic show where I give you your fix of everything you need to know from the world of comic books and superheroes. And on today's show, we're taking a closer look at Ms. Marvel issue number 19, when some old villains from Kamala's past return to make trouble. What'll happen next? Let's hop on in together and find out, shall we? So, as the comic opens up, we see that Kamala and her family are getting ready to celebrate the festival of Eid Mubarak. I hope I didn't butcher that with my silly Canadian tongue. It's a religious holiday that, when translated, literally means blessed holiday. One that manages to marry the overabundance of food of a Thanksgiving with the kindness towards all peoples of a Christmas. It's because of that the K.I.N. family is picking up a goat for dinner, and Kamala doesn't like it. Apparently she freaks out about this every year, and you know what, I feel her. Coming from an area where most people shoot their own turkeys on Thanksgiving, I love the taste, but I hate seeing how it gets made. This dinner is pretty important too because it marks the first time the K.I.N.s and their new in-laws are going to be having the holiday together after Amir Kamala's brother got married. Unfortunately, the festivities are marred a little bit by a bunch of flyers that have been put up all over the neighborhood belonging to a new sort of paramilitary neighborhood watch organization calling themselves K.I.N.D. K.I.N.'s mission statement is to try and protect people from superpowered individuals, and they have reason to believe Jersey City has more than its fair share of dangerous, unregistered super people. Isn't this a huge misuse of power? Isn't this really invading people's personal lives? It sure is. Who is K.I.N.D and who is behind them? Well, for that, sit on back because we got a bit of retconning to do. Hey, you remember back during the last American election, Ms.Marvel had done a really great one-and-done issue where she tried to get kids to go out and rock the vote, and there was a lot of great information about voting within its pages. Kamala and her friends were able to help a nice, well-meaning third-party candidate defeat the evil Chuck Hope who was being backed by Hydra, and there were some pretty obvious political parallels to be made between both those characters and the real-world characters of the last American election. Yeah, well, it turns out the real world didn't match that of the comic. So it's in this issue we find out the results of the election were actually overturned, and the evil Chuck Hope ended up winning, becoming mayor, and now K.I.N.D are his own personal Gestapo. Kamala knows this is bad, but moreover than that, she sees the fingerprints of Becky all over this. You'll remember Becky, once a former protege of Captain Marvel as well. Becky went a little mad with power during Civil War II, locking up people. Well, thanks to the power of Chuck and Hydra, Becky is totally free, and she has decided to redub herself the supervillainess Lockdown. Lockdown's not alone either. There's yet another new villain joining the fight, someone who Kamala says she recognizes but can't quite place. This guy has the power to create a bunch of energy rings that mess with Kamala's own shape-shifting abilities. This new guy takes the opportunity to gloat, giving a villainous speech that hilariously hits many of the very same talking points that Captain America threw out during his last issue of Secret Empire. How, you know, while the heroes were working together trying to bring the world into a better tomorrow, they never once for a second thought that the bad guys could all team up too. And that while Ms.Marvel and everyone else was patting themselves on the back for a job well done, they didn't see people were disenfranchised, they were angry. And now those people are gonna get back at them by dragging them down into the muck with them. You said we were horrible, and now we're gonna get back at you by being pretty horrible because we're supervillains, and that's kind of what we do. Now, while all of this is going on with Ms. Marvel at home, things have gotten much worse as the agents of K.I.N.D have cornered Amir. You'll remember there was a little bit during the beginning of the Ms. Marvel series where we weren't sure whether or not he was inhuman or not. Well, the K.I.N.D guys don't seem to care either way. They think this is the perfect opportunity to drag him off. No trial, no appeal, no proof needed, just drags him off in a van as the comic ends. Well, there you go, everyone. Ms. Marvel number 19. What started off as a light, breezy, sweet little tale about a holiday that I know I didn't know very much about and felt very educated about, takes a hard turn and ends up becoming a lot more. On one hand, it ends up being a story about Ms. Marvel having to tackle an issue that many heroes have to tackle in their career, and that is what happens when all your bad guys team up and come at you at once. And also a comic talking about a lot of the unfair profiling that's happening in America right now. I'm sure for a lot of fans out there, this underpinning is going to hit way too close to home. Just another reason why this Ms. Marvel book can be so emotionally effective and so topical all at the very same time. In the real world, these issues are hard, they're complicated, you don't know how to stop it, but here's hoping Ms. Marvel, the hero in the comic book, can get it all done. Overall, I'd give this one a 9 out of 10. I quite enjoyed it. So there you go,
everyone, another week, another video. I hope you enjoyed it, and while I have your attention, maybe you'll like some of these other things I worked on from throughout the week. Down in the description, you'll also find links to all my social media pages, and while you're down there, might I recommend catching up on this series or any series in trade thanks to Book Depository? Not only will you get a great deal, but if you buy through my link, you actually support me in the channel, so we all win. Until next time, this has been Cabe Joel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all again in another video. Bye-bye.